All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I hope everyone has been staying safe and have been using wisdom in regards to dealing with this global pandemic. It's a lot going on. I've been observing, and I'm looking at how lost the Western civilization is, really the world, is when they're faced with a global or national emergency or catastrophe. I've always warned people for over 20 something years about the dangers of living in an imperialistic society, or what they call first world countries, as opposed to third world countries. Imperialism, which is the mother and father of colonialism and genocide and oppression and tyranny and everything else that comes along with it, is a smokescreen to give the illusion that its citizens are in fact better, more powerful, and more well off than the rest of the world. When the truth is, history has shown that the weakest people on the planet and the weakest people that have ever existed in history were the people who lived in imperialistic civilizations. Technology gives an illusion of invincibility and superiority. Military weapons, massing, whether they're nuclear, space, air, sea, ground. A country like America that spends more money on military than it does on its own citizens is not proof that this country is greater in any form or fashion than other countries, whether they're third world, developing countries, or whatever. It actually is a smokescreen for a more weaker and frail civilization than anything else. America has all Western civilization as a whole, that's Europe and America, white people and their subjects who now act like them and wear their face. They've always had a superiority complex syndrome, where everything that comes from the white race has to be better than everyone else. And I understand the concept of competition. You always want to be the best wrestler if you wrestle. You always want to be the best runner in a race. If you're a car racer, you always want to be the best, the front runner. You always want to be the one to win. In boxing, you always want to be the best, the champion. In martial arts and UFC, you want to be the best. Competition. I understand the superiority complex when it relates to that. But when you develop a system, a race, and a civilization that prides itself on being superior to everyone else, and then begin to treat everyone else it thinks it's superior to as if they're inferior, to the point that they don't have the same value. Their lives are not valued in the same way as the superior peoples. The way other people live is no longer respected because the superior way of life is the right way and everyone else is wrong, and you begin to impose your will and you begin to impose your way by any means necessary, even if it means through genocide and war and tyranny and using economic blockades to starve people to death and cause countries and nations to collapse. When you get to that point there, you're getting to a point of a whole new level of racism that is basically putting you and your civilization on the same level as a civilization of psychopaths, sociopaths, I should say. Imperialistic civilizations are sociopathic in nature. They care more about their image. They care more about their standing. They care more about their ideology than they do their own people and human life. You hear America always talk about why they don't want to change for the better, like dealing with climate change and adopting clean energy and renewable energy and everything. They always try to reference because how we're doing it now provides jobs. In other words, what you're saying is you're not willing to change and conform your way of living, your way of thinking, your way of life with the eternal creator and with natural law and Edenic law that is actually beneficial to mankind, simply because you're more concerned about capital, making money, and ensuring the economy continues that creates that capital and that wealth. You're concerned more about the money aspect than you are about life, human life, the quality of life, the well-being of the planet, climate change, having clean air to breathe, which would ultimately inherently reduce sickness and disease and pestilence and all of these other ailment situations that cause human suffering. You're not concerned about that. Your number one concern is money and wealth. You look at this pandemic thing, and everybody blames it on China. But people need to understand China has had a system of medicine and health, medicine and medical system that has been around longer than any system in the United States, in any system in Western civilization, and in any system of the Western civilization by thousands of years that have been proven effective, been proven superior, been proven to be some of the best form of healthcare humans could have in their lives. But because Western white medicine wants to be the top and doesn't want competition, they place Oriental and Eastern and Asian medicine as an inferior form and system of medicine, even though they allow it to be practiced in the United States silently as a parallel system, but openly as an inferior system, which they call alternative medicines. And there's nothing alternative about Oriental medicine whatsoever. If you want to talk about conventional medicine that actually works, that actually can get jobs, that actually can improve health and can actually revolutionize the world's healthcare system, Asian Oriental medicine is the original medicine, and really allopathic Western medicine is the alternative medicine. And that is why allopathic alternative medicine, the medicine that is not in harmony with the laws of man, is what's killing more people than any other medical system on the planet ever conceived combined. But when you have a sociopathic superiority complex syndrome, you will rather rely on your medicine that has not even advanced to the point of being able to properly combat viruses, and is barely able to hold on to having solutions for the ever-evolving bacterial infections that are now becoming resistant to your medicine. You'd rather hang on to your way, your thoughts, your will, based off of your superiority sociopathic complex, than to allow other medical systems to come in and work in conjunction with you as in complementary to you, so that you can have a better healthcare system that is conducive to improving the lives of all people. Oriental medicine should not be an alternative system in the United States. It should not be a restricted, inferior form of practice in the United States to just acupuncture. There's more to Oriental medicine than just acupuncture. The real aspect, the real effective and life-giving aspect of Oriental medicine is not even acupuncture. It's actually the Chinese internal medicine aspect of it. But the United States has all of these rules and regulations in place because of the American Medical Association and the US government and this allopathic system, that they don't even recognize Chinese internal medicine and everything. They just reduce it down to herbalism, and there's no laws and there's no licensure to license someone in internal Chinese medicine in the United States. They actually try to keep it in the inferior state by making you have to be licensed, become an acupuncturist. When acupuncture is not the superior form of Chinese medicine. It is a great form of Chinese medicine, but it's not the inferior form. Now, don't get me wrong. Acupuncture beats out in surgery anesthesia, Western anesthesia, in every form of fashion. You can use acupuncture and have open brain surgery with no anesthesia. You can use acupuncture to have open heart surgery with no anesthesia. You can use acupuncture to actually have natural childbirth with no anesthesia. That's a proven fact. So acupuncture, even though it's not the superior form of Chinese medicine and Oriental Asiatic medicine, it is still superior and more effective than Western medicine. But yet at the same time, if you took acupuncture and Western anesthesia and used it together, imagine the amount of deaths that could be reduced, or the allergic reactions that could be reduced in the healthcare system. In fact, if you added Chinese medicine, internal medicine, to the American medical system, I guarantee you the mortality rates and death rates in the United States and in Europe will go down significantly. But when you have a superiority complex syndrome, you want to do it your way. And you would rather kill all of your people, collapse your own civilization, and destroy yourself because you want to be the superior one, than to work with other nations and other peoples and other systems of medicines that have proven themselves through the test of time for thousands of years, while you've only been around for barely a couple of centuries. Your baby religion trying to outdo your parents. The scripture says, honor your father and your mothers, that your days may be long. When you talk about time, Ayurvedic medicine and Chinese medicine is the mother and father of medicine. Allopathic medicine is the child, but the child is being disobedient to the mother and the father. And now look what we see. A coronavirus epidemic that has literally pulled off the wool, stopped the smokescreen, and showed Western civilization for what it truly is. A weak civilization that has been acting. The Wizard of Oz, of all Wizard of Oz. Almighty and great up until you pull the wool off. And now they don't know what to do. And now your people are suffering. Now your people are dying because you have never had the answer to be able to handle any type of national crisis related to disease. You've never had the answer to produce peace on this planet. You've never had the answer to bring balance. All you've had was Wall Street, money, God. The Babylonian deity of good fortune has been the spirit, has been the energy, and has been the soul of this country, which is why it's on every dollar bill and it says, in God we trust. That's not saying in the eternal creator of heaven and earth that we trust. It's saying in money, in wealth, and in fortune we trust. That's why Wall Street got bailed out before we are getting bailed out. That's why trillions of dollars was given to corporations to prop them up before the money was even given to us. However, I give praise to the president for standing up for the people and passing a bill to give Americans what they've been long overdue. I think the creator, that eternal creator, in a way has caused something to happen where this country has learned what socialism is really about, what standing together is really about, what caring for the people and caring for the lives of people is really about, because this country has never had a soul and never had a heart for what it means to truly be in the interest of the people. They've always been the interest first of the corporations, of the 1% and the 5%. But now the 1% and the 5% in the government now is in charge and now being forced to have to actually cater to the people, because now it's showing that if the people die, the corporation and the government dies. And now they're seeing overnight what biblical socialism is really about. It's about the people. In any government and in any system in a civilization, people, the citizens, come first. Trump has always said, America first. Now he really understands in this situation what it means in his slogan, his own slogan, America first. Now he understands the true concept of populism and what it means standing up to protect your people and standing up to fight for the well-being of your nation and your people. You can't do that in capitalism placed upon your people. As I've showed in my articles, capitalism is a concept of the Torah. But capitalism is a concept that is supposed to be placed on international and foreign transactions and trade. It was never designed to be placed upon your own citizens in your own country by the government. That's a sin, it's abomination, it's a disgusting matter. Remember, we spoke in previous teachings about the fact that the eternal creator says that when he places a spirit in you, he will remove the disgusting matter from you. And one of the things we've always known, and even Christianity teaches it, the love of money is the root of all evil because it is a form of covetousness. Satan is the one that has produced what we call covetousness, and covetousness is the root of all evil, as the Ethiopian scripture says. But this whole thing where we have to be better than everybody else. America is supposed to be better than everybody else in technology. Yet all the technology says made in India and made in China. America is supposed to be the best medical system on the planet, but right now it's China who has the solution for the coronavirus, and America can't do anything about it unless the Chinese come in. But they don't want to respect the Chinese. They don't want to treat the Chinese as equal. Just like the Western medical system has always belittled Chinese and Ayurvedic medicine. They're doing it to the Asiatic peoples right now. And Asiatic peoples are the ones who have the solution to stop this. And the thing about it is, this civilization has always had a superior complex syndrome since its inception. That's how we ended up with Native Americans being annihilated and entire tribes being extinct. That's how we ended up with Christianity belittling other people's cultures and faiths and religions and telling them that they were incomplete and need to change and need to follow this white religion from Europe. That's why we've seen all these civilizations around the world decimated at the hands of European Western civilization colonialism. That's why we see these embargoes that's always placed against other nations and third world countries to make them suffer more, because this nation and white people and Europeans think that they are better than everyone else. They have a superiority complex syndrome. But you know what? The problem goes further, because most of you all who may watch this and those who don't watch this have become subjects and have placed on the face and have taken on the mind of this nation and this mentality. And you yourselves have that kind of attitude, even amongst yourselves. I listen at how African Americans talk about Africans. I hear about how African Americans talk about people from the Middle East. I hear how they talk about people from Asia. They talk about people, they belittle people, they laugh at people's names, they mock people of other nations and everything, while they're putting up a smoke screen as if people cannot see past that smoke screen all the problems that exist in their own communities. They don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to take care of their own children. Department of Future Children, Families, and Adoption Services have proven that. They have babies all over the place, and yet they rely on a government that they hate to take care of them. You got the women destroying the men by running to the system that they claim is oppressing them to help them further bring oppression more through the child support system. You got expectations of thousands of Black people to die every week around the weekend. It's just an expectation. And all these problems and everything, and yet you hear Black people always say, we're the original man. We're the gods of this earth. We're superior to the white race. We're superior to Jews. We are from Egypt, and we're the ones who created civilization. Sounds familiar? That's how white people, that's how Western civilization, that's how colonialism thinks and talks. People who claim to be Comedics, every chance they get, they got to say something anti-Semitic and insulting to someone who's Jewish, and they are even more vehement to someone who's a Jew of color than they are even to white people. You got the Nuwabians and the Moors and all of these people and everything, the way they treat each other, the way they treat people who are not like them and everything. And you wonder, where did they get this mind from? They got it from the country that they live in. They don't realize they have a mask, they have a face, they have a spirit, they have a mind of Western civilization, they have a superiority complex syndrome, when the truth is, when you look at them, you look at their lives, you look at the fruits that they're producing, like America, they are weak. They're weak, they're non-productive, they're aggressive, they're violent, but more so, they're self-destructive against themselves, like the United States is self-destructive against its own people. You've taken on a mind, and you have made yourself what? A subject of the person you used to call master. They've taught you, they've trained you, they've conditioned you to think and act and dress just like them. That's why when you go to a mall, you don't see any clothes from the Middle East or Africa. You see clothes from France and Europe and all of these things. And they can put a hip hop style, they can put a name to it to make it appealing. No matter what, you all are dressing white. So everything about you, your clothes, the way you do the way you cut your hair, you go to the barbershop and everything and cut your hair like they have trained you for military and everything. Like they've trained you, like they used to wear the people who wear the tiki torches. Y'all got your hair y'all got your hair just like that, but you think putting some waves and putting a little cut or whatever, a little style, you think somehow that's a Black thing. No, it's you wearing the face of the civilization that has made you a subject of them. You got the women walking around with Asian people hair. Some go so far so ridiculous and wear horse hair. Hair that's been on the back of the ass of a horse, they cut it off and put it on their hair, and they think this is African pride and African and black pride and black beauty and all of these things here. They done got you from perms to weave. Now they got you using filters where you don't even look like yourself on social media. You hate yourself so much, you have chosen to look like, think like, act like, dress like, and even eat like you are a subject of a higher imperialistic power that has a superiority complex of their own. Black people treat their own people like America treats its people and treats the rest of the world. Black people treat each other like America treats Africa. Black people treat each other like Europe treats Africa. Black people treat each other like America treats Iran, how America treats Iraq, how America treats Syria, how America treats Afghanistan, how America treats people in Central and South America. You all treat each other just like your master. And so here you are, America, vulnerable, people dying. Black people, no empowerment, no vision, no aim, no connection to the creator. You're sitting right there in the middle of all of this with no plan of action. Most of you all don't even know how to truly survive. Yeah, you've lived in a concrete jungle, killing and murdering each other, but you've never learned how to work together, look out for each other, and be there for each other. Because like America, you've taken on this capitalistic mind where everything is about you. Everything is about your money. Everything is about your hustle at the expense of everyone else. I've seen this mentality. I see how women act. Women are here chasing money by any means necessary. If it means getting 50, if it means giving up some booty in the back of a car for $35 specials, if it means shaking your ass in the strip club, if it means out here tricking and actually voluntarily putting yourself in harm's way by voluntarily becoming a part of sex trafficking or prostitution and walking the streets, or you got girls out here chasing money by selling drugs, committing genocide against their own people, right alongside the black man, chasing money for their own gain at the expense of everyone else. If you all are doing this, you're not building families, you're not building relationships, you're not parenting correctly. Most of your kids are in single parent homes if the Department of Children and Families doesn't come and take them away. You can't take care of yourself without going to the government. You can't raise your children properly without government help. So how the hell can we expect you all to really survive in a global pandemic when the Eternal Creator is going to and fro with his sword, taking out those who have been outside of his covenant, recorrecting civilization, exacting the revenge upon the earth that's been long overdue? How can you survive that if you've already been trained to think like, act like, and be like the root problem that's on the planet? If all you know is self, you don't have time for friends, you don't have time for basic communication, you don't have time to be a normal human being that puts family and community as the center of your living, how can we expect to see you survive in this time? The truth is, many of you are not going to survive because of your toxic mentality, because of the foundation you have in your life that is not built on a firm foundation. The winds are blowing, and many of your houses that you've built, your lives, your way of life, your way of thinking, and everything, your habits are being blown over. What are you going to do when that day comes, when there's no more supply of weed and ecstasy? Or what would you do if that's all that's available? you're not prepared. You have allowed a system to set you up for failure. You have allowed a way of life to make you think that you're free, to let you do whatever you want, however you want, in any way that you want to do it, and not realizing you're running yourself right back into bondage and slavery with your behaviors, your destructive behaviors, not building family, engaging in drugs, violence, this individualistic attitude everyone has where everyone is for themselves. Can't you see that in a situation like this, a global pandemic that is putting all of our lives in risk, my life, my children's life, my wife, your lives are all at risk and everything? Can't you see that the only way you can survive something like this is not just with being smart and being wise and knowing what medicines and what treatments to have and everything, but working together, standing together and being there for each other. America is not going to succeed as a nation until they work with China, till they work with Russia, till they work with Iran, till they stop bullying Syria, until they stop looking down on other nations as if they're inferior. America's not going to survive on its own, because you can't survive being an individualistic nation. No more than you can survive being an individualistic human being. You would think that something like this would bring out the best in humanity. That'll bring out the best where people work together, stand together. And don't get me wrong, there are those elements out there, people who are standing, people who are putting their lives on the line to help combat this pandemic, to help save lives. You got police officers, you got paramedics who don't give a damn about your race, who don't care about your politics, who don't care about your ethnicity or your beliefs or anything. All they care about is you being a human being. You being a human being. I always talk about having the heart of a paramedic, because that's the most genuine heart you can ever have on this planet. And these people are dying. Doctors are dying. Police officers are becoming sick, trying to defend and work to defend you. And yet, all I've seen out in public this past week and a few past weeks, even today, selfishness. Everybody for themselves. You people are selfish. You're selfish because you think your life matters more than anyone else. Superiority Complex Syndrome that you inherited from your civilization. You go and wipe out all the stores so you can have everything and leave nothing for anyone else. And you think you're going to survive? It's the selfish ones who are going to get wiped out first if it ever comes to that. When you stand up for yourself and you're not for others, you have no meaning or definition of who you are. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. What if you ran out of toilet tissue and you needed to go to the store and there's nothing? Because all that toilet tissue hoarding don't last long. What if this pandemic lasts for 2 years like it is predicted? You think you just got 2 years with the toilet tissue? What if you just can, all of you people out there, you millions of people who done wiped out the stores. You wipe out the stores with all the essential stuff, but you leave all the fruits and vegetables. That's another stupidity. Leave all the fruits and vegetables, all healthy stuff, frozen foods. You think somebody with common sense would go get frozen food, frozen fruits and vegetables, so it lasts longer. But you go wipe out essential stuff and everything, and all of these things here, pharmacies and stuff like that, and you don't even think about other people. You're fighting in the stores. You can't even give one roll of tissue to a woman in need. and you think you're going to survive this? This selfishness is what's going to collapse this whole nation and is what's going to collapse this whole world. The eternal creator did not create human beings to be individualistic. He did not create human beings to be capitalistic against each other. He did not create governments to use usury against its own citizens. The way humans have been living is in total contradiction to the original design of man. And when you live outside of your original design, and you live in contradiction to the laws that have been established under the laws of nature that governs human behavior, when you continue to violate these laws and the law of relativity, the law of consequence and cause and effect, which also means the law of reckoning, has to eventually come. That law of reckoning has come because one way or the other, you are going to learn. If it means 50 million people have to die, you are going to learn the concept of what it means to be one as humanity. You are going to learn the concept of what it means to be my brother's keeper and want it for my sister, what I want for myself. If it means that many people having to die globally or more, 1 billion people, the eternal creator is going to make sure during this time and this era, you are going to learn his law, whether you believe in it or not. It does not matter whether you claim you're atheist, whether you're agnostic, or whatever you want to call yourself, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever, all of that division and hate toward each other and belittling each other and thinking your way is better than others, that stuff finna go out of the door. Because the eternal creator is going to force you to love your neighbor as yourself. Mark my words. If you don't learn to love your neighbor as yourself, death is going to be your reward. Only those who are their brother's keeper and who want for their sister what they want for themselves will be the ones who will survive. Consider this situation as a new type of Passover. We have Passover coming up soon. Consider this as your modern day Passover. And those who are covered by the Torah law, love thy neighbor as thyself and do unto others as you want them to do unto you, that is going to be your covering. That is going to be what causes the angel of death to leap over your people, your families, your communities, those who are working together, those who are being smart, those who are who understand that we need more than just Western medicine. We need other forms of medicine to work together, to integrative medicine. When the medical industry works together, we all are safer. When the nations work together, the world is safer. When communities work together, the communities are safer. When families work together, the families are stronger. When peoples of different faiths and ideologies and everything work together, we become stronger. But when you have this capitalistic, I'm better than everybody else, you're looking down on everybody else, you're superior to everybody else, and you got the superiority complex syndrome, that is a smokescreen that you are a weak and pathetic human being, you're a weak and pathetic nation, you're weak and pathetic civilization. And if America does not get this right and get rid of that superiority complex syndrome, America as a superpower that it's not is doomed. This is not what I was going to teach today, because I was writing down the scriptures I was going to teach, and this has absolutely nothing to do with what I wrote down. But that's prophetic power. This is what the Eternal Creator wanted me to say, and this is what I'm saying. If you, America, don't get rid of this superiority complex syndrome, let Asian medicine in, let Chinese medicine be a part of primary care in the United States, let Ayurvedic medicine be a part of primary care and emergency medicine in the United States. Integrate these systems and let them work together with equal respect and equal footing. And I promise you, you'll see a difference in the quality of life in regards to health. Stop giving priority to for-profit pharmaceutical companies. Stop giving priority to companies who are making trillions of dollars in profits, but only paying $14 and $15 to their employees. Stop giving priority to this capitalistic, exploitative, succubus type system that is putting us in the predicament that we're in now. The foundations are being shaken, and if the Eternal Creator has to shake it where everything collapses, he will. But if you, America, black man, white man, Jewish man, Asian man, put aside that weakness of individualism and come together and start to work together and see the beauty and the value that all of humanity has to offer, before the buildings come down, you could be a Samson that'll hold the building up. Because strength isn't when people work together, when we have a social system that is in favor of people first, where we have a government that puts its people above corporations and above for-profit pharmaceutical companies and above special interest groups. When you achieve that, you'll see a change, not only in this nation, but you'll see a change in this world like we've never seen before. There is a possibility we can eradicate poverty from every country on this planet. We can eradicate every epidemic and every disease off this planet right now. We can actually bring peace in every nation on this planet. We can actually stop terrorism right now without even lifting up a gun on this planet, if we get rid of the superiority complex syndrome. And it's either we do it by free will, or it's going to be done by force, divine force, pandemic force. Because I can assure you right now, it is not just the coronavirus that's putting everybody at risk. You got the flu that kills millions of people per year. But you also have bird flu, like I said, that coincidentally comes from quail that is broken out. You have global warming that has melted so much ice in Greenland. Oh, excuse me, was it Iceland? No, Greenland. It's Greenland. That they're literally becoming the name they should have been in the first place. Because we know there's some comedy in how nations are named. They name the beautiful green lush part Iceland. They named the icy part Greenland. But now the icy part is becoming Greenland because of the amount of ice that's melting, which is causing the ocean seas to rise. And of course, that creates a rippling effect that actually negatively affects climate change. We see what's going down in Antarctica and all of these things here and everything. We saw in the scriptures in previous Shabbat studies that every aspect of nature is controlled by Malachim. That when Yahweh was judging David for the census and he destroyed the people, it was a Malachim who drew a sword and was doing destroying. There are Malachim that are out here that are pushing this pandemic around. And if you think you can make war against the Malachim, you are seriously mistaken. You can have that superiority complex syndrome all you want. You'll never be superior to the laws of nature. You'll never be superior to the laws of the Creator, and you'll never be able to fight against a judgment that Yahweh's issued. The only thing you can do is listen to the voice of the Creator through His anointed ones. Humble yourselves and readjust your thinking, readjust your mind, readjust your attitude, readjust your government policies, and readjust how you deal with each other and how you deal with humanity and the world as a whole. That's the only way you're going to stop this pandemic. Because there's not a military missile, there's not a bomb, there's not a gun, there's not a technology that can stop divine judgment in the form of a viral pandemic. The medical system has to stop being arrogant and work together. The Black community has to stop this individualism and work together. Women are going to have to stop this hustle for themselves and start working with a man. And men are going to have to stop seeing women as property and seeing them as equally important in a relationship and start respecting them in such and work together, especially if you have children. Because you're not going to survive individualistic. In fact, I want to show you something for women who may watch this. In the book of Isaiah, and I'm going to wrap up after this, because this is essential, because single women and children, you are the most vulnerable in a catastrophe like this, because you were designed to be a helpmeet to a man. You were not designed to be trying to survive on your own, trying to raise children on your own and do things on your own. You're the most vulnerable because you're not protected and you have no covering either by man nor by the Creator. This is what it says in Isaiah chapter 4, verses 1. And some of you have to change your minds on this too. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own clothes. Only let us be called by your name, to take away our reproach. Think about this for a minute. They have to do something. They have to change their life. They have to change their attitude and change their mind. I want you to think about the 7 women working together with one man. Remember, when you have a superiority complex syndrome, it's all about you. That's why you have jealousy streaks. That's why you're insecure as a woman. That's why you flip out and have mental, emotional breakdowns when you think your man is interested in another woman and your man is looking at another woman, and you flip out and you're fighting, you act a fool and everything. Superiority complex syndrome. Because you don't want for your sister what you want for yourself. But it says in that day, 7 of you are going to take hold of one man so that you can be called by his name to what? Take away your reproach. Look up the definition of reproach. You're in a time of reproach. This pandemic and all the sickness and death and everything that's hanging over everybody's head, you're in a time of reproach. And unless you, like the Black community, like America, and like the world, unless you change your mind and stop this individualistic attitude where you're only out here hustling for yourself, where you're trying to dictate how relationships are for yourself. If you don't get this right, your reproach is going to be your demise. Because your reproach is based off of your selfishness, your superiority complex syndrome, because you think you're better than other women, you think you're more valuable than other women, you think you're the only one that should matter. I don't like to share. The minute you say that, you just outed yourself as being outside of the Torah, outside of the word of the Creator. We could read in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and we could read in the Christian Bible as well. The fruits of Satan versus the fruits of the Ruach Kodesh. Selfishness, insecurity, strife, want for self are all manifestations of what? Satan. And it says for you all, when you think about it, how many women are single mothers right now? Single mothers with children whose lives are in the most danger. You are the most vulnerable. You all are going to have to get rid of that mentality, and you're going to have to attach yourself to strong men, strong, righteous men who have the wisdom of the Creator, who are going to survive this the right way. Because if you don't, you're not going to survive. You're not going to make it. If you don't have a covering, you are nothing but a bullseye in this life. And if you don't understand your original design as a helpmeet to a man, and the fact that you were not designed to be single, it says it is not good for man to be alone. I will make a helpmeet. Remember, we saw it says, choose you this day life and good, or death and evil. If he says it's not good for man to be alone, then that means it is categorized under death and evil. So if you're single with children and you're in a situation like this, you're already subject to death and evil. So the only way you could get that reproach taken away from you is based off of what Isaiah chapter 4:1 says. Hard to swallow, but bitter medicine is usually the best medicine. If the medicine tastes good, 9 times out of 10, it's not really going to work. The most nastiest medicines that are out there are the ones that actually work the best. The question is, do you want the medicine and the wisdom that's going to help you survive and is going to teach you a lesson of what it means to work together? Everything's fixing to change. And for some, it's bad. But for those who learn from this, trust me, it'll be good. It'll be good. We may be getting ready to go on a national lockdown. You have to be ready for whatever is about to come. You don't know when you might get affected. You don't know if you might get affected. You can have faith in the Creator, and I trust that the Eternal Creator is going to protect those who walk in the historic covenant and understand this. And I know for a fact that those who follow the proper instructions on integrative medicine, preventative medicine, and treatment protocols are going to survive, because I'm playing a role in that as well. And I know those who follow my instructions based off of my expertise, 14 plus years of expertise in integrative medicine of both allopathic and oriental medicine, you're going to survive. But if you're arrogant and you'd rather do your own thing and do it how you want to do it than to allow somebody like me to give you guidance and give you treatment because you just don't want me to get the credit for it, if that is your mentality, and I know that is the mentality of my family, that's the mentality of so-called friends, that's the mentality of associates, and it's the mentality of some people who claim to be followers as well. You'd rather put your life on the line and die than to give a dime to Edenic Light Integrated Pastoral and Family Life Care that is working to actually save lives and come up with solutions to save lives that can save your life. You'd rather die than to invest in a little that can save you by coming through us. Individualism, doing what you see right in your own eyes. America would rather, that's that mentality. America would rather destroy its own self, collapsing everything, than allow Chinese medicine and the Chinese to come over and work with them on equal footing. This mentality has ricocheted all the way down to this level. And I see it and everything, because I see who the people who are seeking me for treatment, and I see the people who are just blatantly ignoring me, and it's everybody I know personally who's not supporting, who's not following my instructions. It's all the foreigners and people I don't know who will follow my instructions, and they're the ones benefiting where everybody else is putting their lives on the line. Now think it for a second. If I'm an anointed one of Yahweh, who Yahweh is giving wisdom and knowledge, including scientific wisdom and knowledge, and I have the education and everything to back everything I say to prove that I can do what I can do. And I've been recognized globally around the world for the works that I've done. If I'm anointed by the Creator and you decide you don't want to use me or follow my instructions or follow my advice on how to survive, what makes you think you're going to survive? You really think that highly of yourself, that you can survive without an anointed one? But this is the attitude I'm seeing. And unfortunately, if that's your attitude, that's you. Those who have the mind of the Creator and understand the concept of working together and supporting each other and lifting each other up, and also listening to leadership and respecting leadership proactively, those are the ones who will get it and survive. But your individualism, your individual hustle, you're doing what you see right in your own eyes, that's what's going to get you and your family killed. And that mentality at the individual level, at the family level, at the community level, at the city level, at the state level, at the national level, and the global level needs to stop. Because if it don't, the covenant of death will be made, and it will be seen like we've never seen or imagined before. We can beat this, but we can only beat it together. And with that, I want to say, may Yahweh bless you, and may Yahweh keep you, and may Yahweh shine his face upon you and be gracious to you, and may Yahweh lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Yevareka kaya wavi yishmareka. Yaaya wapina vileka vikuneka. Yisaya wapina vileka viasanika shalom. Shalom alaikum. Alaikum shalom.